We'll chant Om 3 times, followed by the invocation shlokas. Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunatu Sah Vidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Good evening and welcome back. We are covering chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga. There we are talking Sthita Prajna Lakshanas, meaning the characteristics of a person of steady wisdom. In this context, in the context of Bhagavad Gita, wisdom is not about wisdom about the world, rather it is the wisdom about ultimate wisdom to be able to get out of samsara forever. We all want to get out of samsara forever, but at the same time, so that means that we all have glimpses of wisdom to get out of samsara permanently, and we are putting effort for that. All of us are putting effort for that, no doubt. However, our wisdom is not steady. Because we don't have steady wisdom, sometimes we slip and get into the worldly affairs. When we get into the worldly affairs, the challenge is that these worldly affairs will pull us down. That is where Bhagavan said in the verses 62 and 63 that Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangasajayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate. So that means that once we start thinking about the worldly affairs, then they are going to bind us. How? When we think about a Vishyas means worldly things, which we think about because our Jnanendriyas go there. Right? Our Jnanendriyas are Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. They are the Jnanendriya Vishyas. And Shrotra, Jihva, Grana, Netra, Charma. Those are Indriyas. So these 5 Indriyas are going around the objects of these Vishyas. Not only these external Indriyas, but also internal Indriyas, which is Antakarana, which is Mana and Buddhi, are also thinking about what is coming in future, what has happened in the past. And so between all of these, all the Vishyas they all belong to the worldly things. And when we get attached to those, out of that attachment rises desire. Desire unfulfilled turns into anger. In anger, we hit we enter a state of delusion, and that delusion causes us to lose our memories, meaning whatever we have learned. And when we forget what we learned, it will cause our buddhi to not function, in which case we fall down. And so, why is this? Because raga dveshas, likes and dislikes, are the ones that are pulling us towards one vishaya or pulling away from other vishaya. So, one has said, the 64th verse, raga dvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyascharan atma vashe vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. So, the cause for able to, like the reason why our mind is dwelling on something is because of our likes or dislikes for something. Our mind is dwelling on something because of what? Because we have liked certain things. And similarly, we have disliked something because, because we dislike something also, our mind goes uh, somewhere. Like say, for example, if we dislike someone, actually, it is said that you think about the person you hate more than the person whom you love. Okay. So, and it is a fact too. The things that you dislike or hate, they actually occupy more space in your heart, rent free. The example is Kamsa. Kamsa's hatred and fear for Lord Krishna was so high, so great, that he could not think about anything but Lord Krishna even before Krishna was born. So, 8 deliveries. So that means that assuming that one delivery every year, 8 years like that, for the birth of Krishna. And Krishna was about 8 or 9 years old when he actually faced Kamsa. So about 16 years of constant mind, of course, with a negative emotion, reveling on Krishna. It so happened that the moment he saw Krishna, he kind of like got a heart attack and he died. And when he died, he attained moksha. Why? Because God has entered in his heart as fear, of course, and he resided there 16 years without living even for a second. So that was what happened. So the point is that even things that we dislike takes more. Because unfortunately, we don't dislike Bhagavan the way comes at us either, right? So we can't even approach Bhagavan in that way. So these raga and dvesha are all for little things that we have in this world. So these raga dveshas, they are taking, and the food for this raga dvesha is what? They are all raga dveshas are based upon vishayas. Vishayas meaning objects, objects of this world. And our mind, indriyas are going wherever these vishayas are there, which are either liked by us or disliked by us. And then what happened? When wherever indriyas go, mind will follow. And then when mind follows, we are stuck. So on the other hand, the sages or the person of study wisdom, what does they do? They tackle the root problem. The root problem is raga and dvesha. So what do? They cut down this raga dveshas, likes and dislikes, by having equanimity. In fact, few verses before in the same chapter, I think either it's in a verse 49 or 50, it is said that, what is it said? It is said that the Samatvam yoga uchyate is said. Okay. So Samatvam yoga uchyate means equanimity is yoga. Equanimity is yoga means when the mind is free from raga and dvesha, when it is in its state of equilibrium, that is yoga. That is what uh, Bhagwan has said. Okay. So now these guys understand, I think it is in verse 48, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. So these people with study wisdom understand that and they remove this raga dvesha. Then what happens? These indriyas, raga dvesha, so then there are no particular vishayas that are liked or disliked by us. So anything that you see, indriyas are not interested in them anymore. So the mind is not going there anymore. Like, so for example, like if uh, if you go to a, I mean, assuming that neither of you are embroiled in any case or anything, right? None of you. So if you go to a legal exhibition, okay, or a legal library, none of the books interest you. None of the uh, uh, presentations interest you because what difference does it make? Okay, I don't know anything about law. I have no interest in law. Okay, but on the other hand, maybe if it is something of your interest, now let us say because all of you are interested in Vedanta. Let us say you go to a Vedanta exhibition. Oh, okay, so there are some Ramana Maharshi books here. Okay, I wonder what there. Oh, so there's some Vivekananda books over there. Okay, that interests you a little bit more, right? So when you went to this legal exhibition or legal bookstore, what happened? There is a raga dvesha viyukta because even though you're saying, look at this vishayas, you are not interested in anywhere. So mind is not reveling in any of them. So what happened? Your mind is in your control. Atma vashaya vidheya atma. So then what happens? Nothing disturbs you there. So you are at your complete peace there. Of course, like you may be thinking about something else, and because of those inner thoughts, there could be raga dveshas corresponding to those inner thoughts, and then that may make you lose your peace of mind. But however, raga, if there is nothing in this world that comes under this category of the things that you like or the things that you dislike, then there is no disturbance. So this is something that we have saw in 64th verse. So now what happens is that now we'll see in the next shloka, 65th shloka. Okay, so I will break down the words and then we'll go through uh, the meaning. Okay, so prasade sarva dukkhanam, sarva and dukkhanam, two words, simple. Hani rasyopajayate, hani asya upajayate. Three words are there. Hani asya upajayate. Hanihi and asya become hanirasya. Hanirasya and upajayate becomes hanirasyopajayate. Prasanna chetasa. Okay, so that and with the sandhi it becomes prasanna chetaso. Hyashu. Hyashu is two words. He and ashu. Okay, that becomes hyashu. Buddhi paryavatisthate. That's a single word actually. Paryavatisthate. Okay. So, please repeat after me. Prasade sarva dukkhanam
प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां
hanirasyopajayate.
हानिरस्योपजायते
प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु
प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु
बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते.
बुद्धिर्पर्यवतिष्ठते.
So, yeah, good question.
No,
Okay.
I was on mute. Sorry. Go ahead.
So, प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते. Now, earlier, like we saw ladder of fall, right? What was happening with ladder of fall? Calm. When you think about something, attachment arises. From attachment comes desire, unfulfilled is anger, like that we've seen. Now, what happened here is kind of like this is the previous verse and this verse together are building ladder of success. Okay, so in the previous verse, what he said, when raga dvesha are controlled, okay, atma vashehi, okay. So when atma's mind is controlled, when mind is controlled, prasadam adhigacchati. Prasadam means peace of mind, the purity or serenity is attained. So 3 steps. Control of raga dvesha leads to vidheyatma. Okay, so that means that vidheyatma means what happened? Atma, all the indriyas are actually like the atma vashya vidheyatma means indriya, actually indriya is charan vidheyatma. So indriyas, so when there are no raga dveshas, indriyas are controlled by mind. When indriyas are controlled by mind, there is a mental calmness. Is that all? No, 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 no. When you have that mental calmness, again, this prasada means purity of mind. And again, purity of mind happened because indriyas are disassociated with raga dveshas. So that means that now indriyas are cleansed. When indriyas are cleansed from raga dvesha, what happened? Mind is not running helter-skelter behind indriyas. So mind is cleansed. When there is pure mind, that is sattvic mind, that is prasada. Now, when this prasada happens, when the mind has become pure, sarva dukkhanam hanihi upajayate. Sarva dukkhanam. Dukkhanam means sorrow. Sarva dukkhanam means all sorrows. Hanihi means all sorrows are destroyed. So there is a destruction of all sorrows. Why? When there were raga dvesha, when there are likes and dislikes, there is agitation of mind. And when this raga dveshas are removed, that means what? There is no more agitation. When there is pure mind, okay, there is a serenity. And that serenity is removing all sorrows. And when those all sorrows are removed, what do you mean by all sorrows are removed? Like just because my mind is calm, are my problems, did my problems go away? No, your problems did not go away, but you have a calm mind. And when you have a calm mind, what happens? Clarity comes. So that clarity is enabled by peaceful mind. That clarity is prasanna chetasaha. Okay, so second line, first word, prasanna chetasaha. So this clarity, prasanna chetasaha, okay, meaning who is getting clarity? The intellect is getting clarity, right? So when the intellect is getting clarity, and when intellect gets clarity, what happens? Okay, when intellect gets clarity, prasanna chetasaha, he Ashu buddhi paryavatishthate. So here, not only intellect is getting clarity, but it is becoming firm. What is becoming firm? Buddhi is becoming firm. Buddhi is becoming firm with, when buddhi is becoming firm, what we call such a person whose buddhi is firm with respect to Vedanta, with respect to the Vedanta means with respect to the ultimate truth, he is sthita prajna,
wisdom.
become sthita prajna. So that means what? It's all the problem is with raga dvesha. Eliminate raga dvesha, Indriyas are purified. Purification of Indriyas will lead to purification of mind. Purification of mind leads to clarity. Clarity of mind leads to perfection of intellect. The firmness of intellect, the steadiness of intellect happens. And when the study of intellect with respect to this what? Like, okay, is it to study better science or like, better studies, etc.? Probably that is good. But the ultimate intellect that we want is to be able to distinguish between what is permanent and what is impermanent. Jagat is impermanent. Anything associated with Jagat, whether it is material, whether it is people, whether it's relationships, all of them are impermanent. This body is also impermanent. This body is impermanent. The other bodies around me are impermanent. The relationship between me and the other bodies around me are impermanent. Anything and everything that I am doing for betterment of this body are also impermanent. What is permanent? Brahman alone is permanent. Brahman alone is the truth. Everything else is mithya. So when I want to hold on to that Brahman and I want to work in this world while holding on to Brahman with another hand. So when I have that level of intellect and that is strong, then what happens is that I become sthita prajna. That is the sthita prajnata that Bhagavan is talking about. So we have seen, so verses 62 and 63, we have seen ladder of form. And immediately Bhagavan was compassionate to show us ladder of growth also, ladder of rise also. He's showing us both. Now, what do you want to choose? That is up to us, right? So, because see what happens is that this control of raga dvesha is a very important thing for many of us, for all of us. When we want to attain this Brahmi sthiti or Brahmajnana or Sthita Prajnata, whatever you call, right? That means what we need to do? We have to move from, meaning like we have to still do Shravana, no doubt. That Shravana should lead to Manana. From Manana, we need to lead to Nididhyasana. In the Nididhyasana, we have to get to the state of Samadhi. Samadhi means a mental peace, right? Now, large number of us, most of the time, we are happy with Shravana, yes, but we really, many of us don't even progress into Manana, meaning like, okay, so after the session is done, what has been talked about, why this has been said, I wonder why this is true, why not the other way. So, the kind of a thinking alone is not done. So, that must be done. And then we should sit for meditation. Meditation is not like a huge, I mean, like a hi-fi thing or like a glamorous thing. It's just sitting devoid of all external noises, external disturbances, and just focusing on what has been studied as Jiva Brahma Aikyata and reflecting on that and how that single flow of thought, single chain of thought about that why you are Brahman. That's all meditation, right? So, and in that, there is an answer you will find, and the answer is fine. You hold on to that, and when you abide in that, that itself is samadhi. Okay? So, that's why, and that is when the buddhi starts pariyapate, meaning it starts becoming strong. Until then, it is uh, in growing up in South, probably you're also familiar. There's a Jumme se Jumme tak.
Jumme ka Jumma.
Uh, okay, so in the same way, we are also okay. Satsang to satsang, from this satsang to next satsang. So that's it. So that let's go to. Do you have any thoughts about this shloka? Or shall we go to the next shloka?
No, that's fine. It's very simple and very clear. Just the control of the mind and control of the indriyas is one of the most challenging things that we have to do. And again, as much as we try sometimes harder, it seems to backfire. So one has to let go as much as possible and keep it simple. And I think having the ability to disengage from any of these disturbances is very, very helpful. But again, I think it's an ongoing journey that we have some moments where we get it, some moments we lose it. That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
All right, we go to the next one. Yeah.
Sure. So let me break down the words. Nasti. It's actually two words are there. Na asti. Okay, it's not there. Nasti. Buddhi rayuktasya. So there are again two words. Buddhi ayuktasya. Buddhi ayuktasya together becomes buddhi rayuktasya. Na chayuktasya. So this is cha ayuktasya. So ayuktasya is coming twice. Okay. Buddhirayuktasya na cha yuktasya bhavana na cha bhavayataha, that is cha abhavayataha shantirashantasya. There are two words in there. Shantihi ashantasya together becomes shantirashantasya kutaha sukham. Okay. So that's the breakdown. Please repeat after me. Nasti buddhirayuktasya
Naste buddhirastata
na chayuktasya bhavana
nachayastasa bhavana
na cha bhavayata shantihi
nacha bharvayat shanti
shantasya kutha sukham.
shantasya yakuta sukham.
So, yukta means united. Ayukta means not united. So here, what is happening is that yukta. So when we say united, what does this united mean? It's not definitely not United Healthcare or United Airlines. They both are getting bad rap nowadays. Yukta united means what? United with higher, right? So nasti buddhi ayuk. So ayuktasya means one who is ununited, not united. Okay. So there ayuktasya buddhi nasti is one. Ayuktasya bhavana nasti is other one. So these are the two phrases that are used in first line. Okay. So the opposite of ayukta is samahtasya. So one who is absorbed. So what happens is that when we are absorbed, as in like yukta, okay, what happens is mind is completely placed, well placed. Okay, so when that mind is uh, placed completely in its position, it is yukta. But on the other hand, when the mind is not completely placed well, then it is ayukta. So what is happening is just like just as I said earlier, when we study something, we get some clarity. Okay, so actually, like our teacher, our Vedanta teacher, so Swami Advainandaji, he said something interesting on the very first day of our class. When you, from what I teach in the class, you get only 25%. Okay, you are going to get only 25% of what I teach. When you discuss what happened in the class with your classmates and exchange your thoughts with each other, you get another 25%. And when you think about what your classmates said, what did the teacher say, and you read about it, like as the what did the textbook or the scripture said, and when you think about it, you get another 25%. 75% is done, right? The rest 25, how are we going to get? It's kala kramena. That means you have to let it sit in your mind and you have to bring it in front whenever you have free time and think about it, and over a period of time you will get it. So 25% through actual teaching, 25% through discussion, 25% through thinking about it, reflecting on it, and 25% through time. So now there are four components he gave, right? What is the first 25%? It is Shravana. Discussing about what I already know, I mean, like what I already studied, and thinking about it independently, both of them constitute manana. And reflect on it over a period of time. Whenever I have free time and think about it, and like, okay, and then you find new angle, etc. That is nididhyasana. Okay, so that is how we get the completeness. So now to get to that point, nididhyasana is important. Okay. Now, so that means after Shravana and Manana, we get clarity. When the mind is placed in this clarity after Manana for extended period of time, then the connection to the knowledge that is revealed by Shastra is understood. In this case, what are Shastras revealing, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or any Upanishad? They are revealing Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. You are that, you are Brahman. From a teacher's perspective, you are Brahman. That's what teacher is saying. From my perspective, I need to understand Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I need to understand. My real nature is Satchitananda. So that knowledge has come during Shravana, but I have to do Manana on that and then abide in it. So only then that Yukta. So the connection, when that connection happens between the scripture and my mind, yes, I get it, I understand it, I know it. That is when it is Yukta. So here, Na asti buddhi ayuktasya, meaning here buddhi is not referring to the intellect or intellectual knowledge. Okay, so here it is referring to my direct personal experience, which is aparoksha jnana. So this aparoksha jnana means jnana that is obtained by not someone else, not through someone else's eyes. Okay, aksha. Okay, so let me explain this word aparoksha jnana. In we have a book. If you go to Chinmaya bookstore, you can find a book called Aparoksha Anubhuti. Aparoksha Anubhuti. Okay, that's a Prakarana Grantha. Anubhuti means experience. Aparoksha. So that aparoksha, let us understand. Aksha means eyes. So whenever you see something with your own eyes, it is called pratyaksha. Okay. So I have seen with my own eyes. So that is my own understanding is called as pratyaksha. Now let us say uh, I did not see through my own eyes, but someone else told me. For example, and it doesn't mean that it is wrong. Okay, so our teachers taught us that there are 9 planets. And later on, they realize, I mean, now they're saying that Pluto is not a planet, so 8 planets, that's a different story. But how many of us have actually seen all the 9 planets to say that, okay, yes, there are 9 planets? We believe in them. We believe in our teachers and we say, yes, there are 9 planets or 8 planets, whatever that number it is. So this is just because it is through someone else's eyes, it doesn't mean it is wrong. However, it is secondary knowledge. This is paroksha. Okay. Now, pratyaksha and paroksha, we understood. Okay. So now when teacher says you are Brahman, would it be pratyaksha jnana or paroksha jnana?
You're mute.
Paroksha jnana, because we have not realized ourselves yet.
Yeah. Okay. So it is not my personal experience, it is someone else's experience. Some Chirmanandaji said that you are Brahman, or Ravana Maharshi said you are Brahman. So I must be Brahman because they are Mahatmas and they don't lie. But it is not my experience. So it is paroksha jnana. Now, when I experience and when I realize that I am Brahman, would that be pratyaksha jnana or paroksha jnana?
When I realize
Hmm?
it is aparoksha jnana, because
No, no,
it's
no.
not from the
Pratyaksha or paroksha,
pratyaksha jnana.
right? However, interestingly, our Vedanta doesn't call this as pratyaksha jnana, but it calls it as aparoksha jnana. Okay. So why do they say as in a negative? Oh, it is not non-indirect knowledge as opposed to saying direct knowledge. Okay. Because aksha means eyes, I told you, right? So pratyaksha means something that has been seen by my eyes. But Brahman is not an external thing to see. Okay. Now, and to experience Brahman, you don't need eyes. To experience Brahman, you don't need to have mind also. So that means that no instruments are necessary to experience Brahman because it is you.
Beyond.
Okay. Now, this personal experience of Brahman is so direct that you don't need eyes, you don't need mind, you don't need anything else. Okay. Because if if I if I close my eyes, or if you close your eyes, and if I ask you, are you there? Are you there or not? You are there, right? Now, how do you say you are there? You don't have to see. Okay. Now, for that, for us to understand that I am there, I don't need my eyes. What about my mind?
You need it.
Need your mind. So here there's a statement. The famous philosophical Western philosophical statement is, "I think,
That I am.
so I am." Right. So the mind is required to say that, to know that I exist. Now Vedanta disagrees with that. Okay, it says, think carefully. Because of your mind, did you know that you are there? Or because you are there, your mind knew that you are there? So, the Eastern philosophy says, I am, therefore I can think. So, even my mind is not required for me to know that I am. Okay, so no instrument is required for me to know about my existence. So this is why it is called aparoksha jnana. Now, I know that I exist without any instrument. I have that kind of aparoksha jnana, but I don't have an understanding that my true nature is Brahman without any external instruments. So I don't have that kind of an aparoksha jnana. So this coming back, right? Na asti buddhihi ayuktasya. So where here the buddhi is not referring to intellectual knowledge, but it is referring to my aparoksha jnana. So this aparoksha jnana is not possible unless I abide in this knowledge through nididhyasana. Okay, so that is important part. Yuktasya avana nasti. The second portion, right? So nasti buddhi ayuktasya nacha ayuktasya bhavana. So when you break it down and like when you do the anvaya, right? It is ayuktasya bhavana nasti. So when I have a thought, then I have a feeling. Okay. So this thought would lead to feeling. That knowing or that the feeling of that knowing is called as bhavana. So progression of buddhi is called as bhavana. Ayuktasya bhavana nasti. When there is no buddhi, bhavana, only when there's a buddhi, only when there's knowledge, bhavana is possible. If buddhi itself is not there, meaning like that, approach jnana itself not there, where is the question of bhavana? So that is also not possible. So, and only when that bhavana is there, and when that bhavana becomes permanent, then that is aparoksha jnana is stable, and that becomes druda. When that druda is there, drudatva means sthiratva is there, then what happens? That is when the shanti comes. Shanti means, here shanti means not some mental peace. The shanti is talking about absolute clarity and peace. So now ashanti na cha na cha abhavayataha, when there is no bhavana, what happened? Na shanti. Okay. When there is no abhav, when there is no bhavana, then there is no shanti. No shanti means no liberation. And unless you are liberated, you cannot experience happiness. Ashantasya kuta sukham. Meaning it's a rhetorical question. Ashantasya kuta sukham means how can anyone get sukha? Means they are not going to get sukha. So the sukha is also talking about liberation or freedom from sorrow. So the freedom from sorrow is not possible unless. So if you peel back the layers from right to left, I need sukham. If I want sukham, what do I need? I need shanti. To get shanti, I need bhavana. What bhavana? Bhavana that aham brahmasmi. To get to that point, what do I need? I need to have buddhi. Means what? Aparoksha jnana. To get to that, what do I need? I need yukti. Yukta. Yukta, what is yukta? Yukta with higher, united with higher. How do I get united with higher? Through nididhyasana. To get to nididhyasana, what do I need to do? I have to do shravana and manana. So, shravana will lead to manana. With manana, don't stop at shravana. Continue to manana and nididhyasana. And in nididhyasana, I am able to get that buddhi, and with that, I become yuktasya. Okay, I get yukti through yukti. Like I get united with the buddhi that I am Brahman, and with that I get the bhavana. With that bhavana, I shanti. Through shanti, I get sukha. Again, another progression that has been given here in using negativity, as in like negative words. Okay. However, you see the progress. Okay. So we saw two sets of progressions today, right? One means when we drop off raga dvesha, indriyas are controlled. When indriyas are controlled, mind is controlled. With mind, when mind is in control, mind gets serenity or peace. Okay. In that serenity, all the worries will wash away. Sarvadukhanam hanihi. From there, the clarity comes. Okay. And from that clarity, knowledge is established. Now, to establish that knowledge, you do the Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. With that Nididhyasana, in that Nididhyasana, you'll find Yukti, Yukta, like union with the higher. Meaning union with the higher means what? Union with whatever the scriptures have said. Scriptures have said Aham Brahmasmi, so that Aham Brahmasmi is understood, and with that the buddhi rises. This buddhi, we understood that I am Brahman in Shravana itself. But here, now I know that I am Brahman. And with that buddhi, when that is, we are holding on to, that buddhi becomes our bhavana, our understanding, and with that we gain shanti, with that we are freed from sorrows. Okay, so this is another way. Okay, so now, but what are the challenges here? Again, the challenges are to get to this point. What is happening? Our mind is wavering. Our mind is wavering because of indriyas. Okay. And the danger of indriyas, we are going to talk in our next session. So we'll start that next shloka in the next session. Okay. So I'll pause here and see if you have any additional questions or or any thoughts or inputs.
No, I was trying to see the progression, as you said, I mean, you do the Shravanam, you do the Mannam, you do the Nidasanam, and then you move to, so once you get the knowledge, you have to experience that. Without experience, there is no knowledge, right? As you explained. So once the knowledge is experienced, and then we become wise, our wisdom comes through the experience of what we are learned. And I think you elaborated on it very well as to how to establish that progression in our own thinking so that we can manage it the best we can. I think it is very true. I think we have to keep abiding by those 4 or 5 principles of, how to get rid of the desire, the attachments, viveka, vairagya, sama, dhamma. I mean, all these are all integrated in one thing that we need to complement them as much as possible. And they are all interconnected. I mean, there's no
Yes.
doubt. I mean, this is all a matter of how you dissect it slowly. And as we have learned through reading so many of our scriptures, that ultimately it's negation, that you have to rule out, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me, till you come to the ultimate, that is me, not this everything else. All these koshas and everything we have studied for a period of time, which kind of take us away from the real, our real, what we are. And I think that is an ongoing kind of challenge, but ongoing reflection. We have to reflect as much as we can. I think that's very true. I mean, we learn, we hear, we kind of discuss, but at the end we have to practice it. We have to reflect and then try to make changes and adjustments in our own activities and our actions, basically. Yeah.
In other words, to reach to the higher, we have to let go. Like if we are climbing the ladder to reach the top, we have to let go the lower steps one after the other. Let go to reach to the top. So one after the other, we have to let go to reach to the top, like as we climb a ladder.
There's a very good example I have heard from one of the psychologists. Actually, he was doing stress management, and he says there is this bunch of bananas in a tree, but the hole is small. The monkey is trying to get the banana, but as soon as he gets it, he cannot take them out. So once he let go of the attachment is gone. As long as he is holding on to the banana, there is attachment. Once he lets go, then it's gone. So it is very interesting. So once we let go, and letting go is not easy. That is the biggest hurdle in life. We have such strong attachments to so much that I think that's what I had written myself a small summation one day. I was passing it on to some friends that the two basic elements that we have to conquer is desire and attachment, and everything else follows. Everything else will fall into place. I think we can conclude. Thank you, Venkat. It was very nice. We keep, I think, at least little by little, it is sinking in. But again, it takes so many lives to get to the. But at least we are engaged in the process. So at least we are seekers, willing to listen, willing to learn. And I think if we can manage this, that's why satsanga is the most important part of our activity, that they emphasize in all the Vedantic literature, that satsang is so precious, so important.
So we close then.
Yeah.
Oh. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः Harihi Om.
So we'll meet again